Hello. Good evening, guys. How are you all? So far, it's me. Pull the chat up here. Chat set up. And how is everybody tonight? I'm okay. I'm here. I got started on a new medication over the weekend, so I've done nothing. Hello, Lori. Since we were together on Thursday, I've done a little bit, but not much. Just you and me for now, Lori. So I am here to work on the camera light a little bit tonight. This isn't helping any. Lori's been sleeping all day just like I have been, which is cool. Keeps us out of trouble, right? So I know what I didn't do. I didn't look at numbers before I came on. I know Colleen is over 1100 and Sylvia's either 816 or 817. I'm still sleepy too, Sherlock. Hi, Nancy. How are you tonight? How's Scary doing? I know you're still waiting on results, or you were the last time we were all together talking. I've been doing a very little bit on my Sunbonnet Sue's. I've got some pieces cut out. I've got a video that I want to record for you guys probably tomorrow because it's not happening tonight, about mirroring. And the reason I didn't put mirroring in the earlier videos or the scan and cut or the brother is because that's a whole subject in and of itself. And there's a lot of reasons why you would want to mirror or not mirror. And I didn't really want to get into heated vinyl and all that stuff in that first video for you. So I'm going to switch you guys and I'm going to turn around here. My sewing machine's behind me. And I think I've got an angle where you can see me and the machine. And if anybody comes in while I'm switching, hello. You guys see me okay? I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. I figured what I would do. Hey, Star, I'm good. How are you? I have, I was just saying, I started a new medication for the arthritis, and it is kicking my tush, to be quite honest with you. And let's see, can you guys see what I've got up here on my sewing machine? Trying to see if it's high enough. I'm going to set up my phone so I can see. Okay, good. So what I've got here is I've got my leftovers from the block we were working on the other day for that Jacob's ladder. I never did get back in here and work on this. So if you guys aren't too upset about the idea, I'm going to go ahead and do this tonight. I have the wrong foot on here. Why do I have the wrong foot on here? I am bad. They started me, if anybody takes arthritis meds, Areva is what they just started me on. And apparently, Areva makes you very tired, at least while it's starting. That's the biggest symptom I'm having. I didn't see Gay come in, but hello. Oh, I hope so, Nancy. And I think that the white blood cell count dropping is a good thing, right? Isn't it? We were talking about that the other day and I didn't look. And I should have. So let's see. I want to move my... I want to break a needle live on camera here. That's just not fun to do. Yeah, I'm hoping that cancer is going too. That would be amazing. I was listening to one of my lives earlier today, and I was like, why am I talking about that? Because I have a friend who has lung cancer. And then I remembered it was probably because of Terry. She's never had any of the risk factors for it. And she's on year 4 of fighting it. Did Kate come in and I missed her? That's weird. All I'm doing is I'm piecing the little pieces, chain piecing all of them, and then I'll put them together. But I figured this way we could talk and I could sew, and I am freezing tonight. I think that's a side effect of the medicine too. Because when I'm sleepy, I'm cold. Anybody else like that? Still trying to double check that white fabric. I stacked it all up, right side up so that I would be able to do that quicker. But I'm still double checking myself because that's how I roll. It really, really stinks that that happens way too often, stir. That's some nasty stuff. Definitely some nasty stuff. Colleen's not feeling well. I don't think anybody's really feeling good. If anybody out there's feeling good, share it with us. Everybody out here is, you know, everybody's got something going on, right? If you're having a good day, share it because that way the rest of us can go, yay. I'm always kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. Wayne wasn't feeling good this morning. He called in sick to work and he didn't even have to drive anywhere. He woke up going, ugh. And it is no fun to be sick to your stomach and trying to work on a computer and answer phone calls. And then he had a doctor's appointment this afternoon, just a regular like checkup. And by the time he went to the doctor, he was feeling way better, so he didn't say anything to her about it. Which I get it. Just like, why are you sick? And you guys know we barely go anywhere. He ventures out into the real world way more than I do. Yeah, the flu is going around or something. Ugh. My let's see, the grandkids from Michigan are down here and they're staying with one of my stepdaughters at the same house that we stayed at during the last hurricane. And luckily, I don't think they've had any bouts of bad sickness or anything. But all of the kids are now finally in school. It took them a little while to get everybody enrolled. And hopefully, I don't know if everybody's considered on grade level for Florida because, going from one state to another, so, excuse me, is sometimes a little different. But I think it was what seems like forever to get everybody enrolled because of getting school records transferred and all that stuff. I'm doing my 4 patches here. Sorry, I don't have anything wild and woolly to talk about tonight. But I did want to get these done, and I kind of want to do them. Yeah, school down here lets out, I think it's at the end of May. I think it's at the end of this month. I don't know. When does it let out up there, Sherlock? She probably has a better idea. She's got a bus driver in the house. Hello, Giovanna. How are you today? Happy Mother's Day. Actually, I thought about that this morning. My former mother-in-law, her birthday is today. And I don't know how old she is. She's up there, probably 80 something. But her birthday often falls on Mother's Day. And I think this year, Mother's Day is on the 13th. Is that right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, please. But so for once, Vicky's birthday isn't on a national holiday where she can't go out to have dinner or something. Many's the year where she had to cook her own Mother's Day dinner or they took her out a couple of days before or something, because it was Mother's Day for the rest of the country, not just for her. School gets out June 6th or the 9th. Oh no, your area was flooded, Joe? Did you have any damage to your house? Trying to keep that 1/4 inch seam there. Pretty much true at this point, sir. I mean, it's really been going on for about 3 years now. And quite honestly, I mean, that's true, Nancy. Quite honestly, sir, you're in the US, right? I'm not sure if I had a choice if I'd send my kids to a regular school these days because of all the craziness that's going on. I know it's not just happening at schools, but I don't remember this kind of stuff from when I was little. Maybe because I was a kid and didn't pay attention to it. But we wanted to homeschool when we had our kids, and then it didn't work out because, you know, they started school after we got divorced. But nowadays, I'd almost be afraid to send them to school. So I really can't blame anybody who does decide to homeschool and has the resources and ability to do it. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. That's terrible. I take it your gas lines run underground. Is that right? Yeah, that would be tough. Do you have electricity? I don't know how it works in Australia or in Italy. I'm not sure which one you're in, Joe. I think you're in Italy. But in some countries in Europe, I know a lot of things run on gas instead of electric. So that could be a huge deal for you, not just, oh, I can't cook dinner. There's a lady who just bought an Italian villa who's been fixing it up. Now that's one thing I haven't heard issues about is Catholic high schools. So maybe they're better there. You have electric, but you got a leak of water in the pipes. It's not good. Slide over this way a little bit. So I got all this stuff chain pieced, and now I'm gonna take all my little pieces that I pieced. And you can turn the flowers. So if one part gets dull, you just turn it and use the next part. Works out really well for me, I think. All right. What I want to do is I want to cut. Yeah, mine would definitely, if mine were still in school, they'd be homeschooled. I wanted to anyway, but these days it would be Tracy. She always yells it at me, so I have to yell it back at her. Sorry, guys. I'm just cutting my little squares. I missed a spot. Let me get that and get it trimmed up so I can put everything together. Stir, I am finishing the block, the Jacob's ladder that I started on Thursday. I only showed you guys doing 1/4 of it because I figured once I had shown you 1/4 of it, it was pretty much, the rest of it's all the same, but I didn't do anything on it over the weekend like I should have. So yeah, I didn't get anything done. Now that is absolutely bizarre. Gay, why can I not see you tonight? I know you're not blocked. Thank you. It did that to me with Janet the other day too. I couldn't see her in chat right after. And a couple days later when I was going back to rewatch it, it showed her. I'm like, what are you doing here, YouTube? Thank you, Star. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just picked some that were similar to what I've been doing in all the other blocks for this. I don't know if the well, let me untie my tongue here. I don't know if the Quilt Builder card box blocks are going to end up in one quilt or if they're going to end up in different places. But I'm trying to use some really bright springy colors for this. Colleen sent me a text. I'm on live chat. Oh, well, even if we, with mine, we were, well, with the grandkids, there are 22 grandkids. And most of them have lots of brothers and sisters, obviously. I'm just, ooh. That's moving the camera when I do that. Let's see if we can get that so it doesn't move the camera. So they would definitely have plenty of socialization. Yeah, well, Joe, it's funny. When I was growing up, I wanted 6 kids and I wanted all girls and blah, blah, blah. And of course, then I got married. I had 2 boys and I wanted a white picket fence. And I could only have 2 kids. We both had complications on my second pregnancy. Almost lost my son. Almost lost me too. So, fast forward a lot of years, when I met Wayne, we started dating, and then I found out that he had 4 daughters. And I was like, oh, well, I really wanted girls, and there's the 6 kids. That is a big old ant. I haven't seen one there. So there's my 6 kids, and then I got sick right after we bought this house, which is not a good thing. And I ended up in the hospital for 10 days or something. And when I came back, he had put a white picket fence in front of my house. So I now have 6 kids and a white picket fence. And when we first met, we only had like between us 4 grandkids. But his daughters have been very prolific. And we have some steps in there, although we don't count them. Hello, Stephanie. How are you tonight? So, yeah, I was really lucky, and my iron is not hot enough. What's up, Sass? Yeah, I lucked out, Joe. I really did. I made some mistakes along the way, but I lucked out. My husband's the bomb. So, and I told him, next lifetime, if you believe in reincarnation, I told him he's got to find me sooner because I was 48 when we met. And me claiming the girls or him claiming my boys isn't anything intended as offensive to their other parents. It's just that's how we roll. We claim them all. Claim them all and let God sort them out. You have 2 kids and no grandkids? Well, how old are your kids? I mean, but did it look similar to what this looks like? But a gray and black, like 2 shades of gray box. Because that is also a C&T publishing product, and I have that, and those are fun. I've played with it a little bit, never on camera though, but it's kind of fun if you want to like create a block for yourself. You just pull the little squares out. Yeah. Oh, stir. I'm having fun with mine. Like I said, I haven't done it on camera, but if I want to like audition the idea of a block, I can lay it out and do that and use it to help me put together other blocks. I use it a lot. There's and orange and red, huh? I don't know if that's the same company, but it could be interesting. Oh, well, they still got time. Joe, let me tell you what, my brother swore up and down, never gonna have kids, never gonna have kids. And we all said, okay, that's fine. You don't have to have kids. Well, when he hit about 30, I guess he changed his mind. And then he's now got 4. Most of them are in their early 20s, so basically grown at this point. And he's now got 4 um, 4 kids, and he's perfectly content with having kids. I never thought he was going to do it. So, and 24 is young, 27 is still young, especially today. Apparently it's harder for, I guess the current generation is millennials, right? Have to keep all the little terms straight. I think it's harder for them to settle down and, feel like they're ready to have kids. Oh, that stinks, Tracy. That definitely stinks. That's because of choice problems with their parents. I mean, it's an issue, right? I don't want to tell you business, but I have 2 that I haven't seen the second one at all, and he'll be 4 this year. My son is stubborn. just like his mama. But he's a good parent. We'll leave it at that. Oh, well, no. Yeah, yeah, when I was having kids, people were like, "Oh, well, there's never a good time to have kids." But I mean, it makes a difference in how well you're able to raise your kids if you wait until you're at least stable in a career before you start having kids, and don't necessarily have to own a house or anything, because that seems to be beyond a lot of people's reach. But I really think the responsible thing to do is look. Yeah, my brother's got let's see, 24, 21, I have to think, 18, and then 6 are the ages of his kids. So yeah, there's a pretty big gap between the oldest and the youngest. And only one of his kids so far has a child. And that kid looks just like my brother. Poor kid. Actually, he looks just like I remember my brother looking as a little kid, right down to the cowlick. He's got a little cowlick over his forehead. The other kids haven't started procreating yet. I was 19 and then 23. I think I was already 23. My kids are almost 4 years apart, like 2 months shy of it. One was born at the beginning of July and the other one was born at the end of August. So yeah. And I wanted mine 4 years apart on purpose because I thought that was a good age gap so they didn't end up like in the same classrooms or anything. $11 years is a lot. That was my sister-in-law that my brother has been married more than once. Is his oldest child is hers, and she had a 17-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a newborn. And when she was pregnant, when she told me she was pregnant, I looked at her and said, on purpose? I'm glad she didn't smack me because I probably did deserve to be smacked for that one. But yeah, hers, she had a big gap in hers. But yeah, so there's, I'm glad my mom didn't decide, when the youngest of us was, 16 to have another kid. Like, oh, that would be awful for her and for the kid. Oh, Tracy, I'm sorry. I've heard it before, but it still doesn't make it any easier. And then what I'm doing is I've now got all my pieces parts sewn and I'm just going to sew them together. Okay. First, I'm going to do some squaring up though. We're going to do that. And some ironing here. Yeah, the government definitely needs to mind their business. I've seen cases where it was a good thing, but others where it wasn't. I have a cousin who passed away a few years back, and when she passed, she had three children by three different men, and they wanted to send the second child to his father, who wasn't in the picture at all. And thankfully, my aunt stepped in and raised some cane about that because he ended up living with his older sister's dad, and he has done really well there, which I'm pleased for him. 3 by 3. I think you may be right, Joe. You may be right on that. So what did I do wrong on those? My triangles are the right size. My squares, however, are only coming out at 3 by 3 instead of 3 1/4. Sad to say, Joe, I think you may be right because that seems to happen way too often. But what was really weird to me, and this happened years and years ago, it's not recent. One of my cousins, they took um, their baby at birth because the mother had had a child that had passed, and they let my grandmother, who at the time was like 75, have custody of that kid. Children and Families did. And I was like, well, what did that do? Yeah. You're getting tough in your old age, sir. I think that we all do a little bit of that. We all do a little bit of that. I know I was told I've gotten meaner as I've gotten older. And I'm not mean. I really don't think I am. I just don't put up with anything. My sister told me I was mean because I gave my nephew rules. I said, you can stay here, but these are my house rules. And they include, no drugs, no drinking, no fighting, that kind of stuff. And she said that was mean of me to tell him that because he's in his 30s. He's a grown man. He should be able to do what he wants. I said, you're right. He is a grown man. I said he should be able to do what he wants, and he can start with paying his own bills. If he's going to stay at my house, then he's going to have to follow my rules. I don't think that's too tough. Maybe it is. That stinks, Tracy. It really does stink. And that happens way more than you think. Stuff like that does. Where certain people are told, oh, you're not, we're going to take your kids because. It happened a lot to the American Indians. I don't know what you're doing, sewing machine, but you're irritating me. Let's try that again. Joe, I'm pretty much to the point that if I wouldn't take advice from you, I don't care about your criticism either. You know what I mean? Not you specifically, but in general, people. Oh, yeah. The reason I do flying geese as HSTs most of the time is because it makes more sense to me. It really does. Yeah, yeah, Joe, you sound a lot like me. I don't have time for a bunch of drama and crazy, even if it's family. I just am at that point that I'm like, you have a nice life. I'll see you next round, if there is one. And if not, I didn't miss anything by missing the crud, you know? Now, if we're talking about family, you know, if you're messing with my family or my friends, then we're going to have a problem. I get a little angsty over people messing with those I consider mine. Oh, Tracy, some people just need to mind their own business. So there's the second one done. You can tell I'm really fast at these, right? Not. I wonder why I have 2 more sets of those, because I've got 2 blocks to make, that's why. I hate when I do stuff like that. Cut my blocks the wrong size, and then you're sitting there going, what did I do? Well, Tracy, at least you didn't wait in Walmart and trip the person or something. Like I heard somebody say they did. I was like, what? There's a guy on Facebook, and I call him, pardon my French, guys, I call him the for fuck's sake guy, because that's what he says. He'll like pull a hack and show, like, I didn't know that you could put a socket wrench, one of those ones with the round hole in there. You can put it on the end of a screwdriver, like a regular size screwdriver, and it will help give you more pressure to be able to open a screw or open a nut or whatever it is you're trying to open. And he actually, you know, puts a little clip from the video that he's looking at, and then he goes and tries it. And I sit there and go, wow, I would have never tried it, but it works, you know. And he doesn't, I guess he doesn't show things if they don't work. But I've learned more from watching him go, really, than I have from ever being taught. You know what I mean? If you are on Facebook and you do reels, you might catch him. He looks like he's some kind of a welder or a mechanic. He might be fun to watch. Yeah. Well, Joe, sometimes you just shake your head at people and go, really? I've done that a few times. Just trimming up my little blocks. Do you breathe the same air we do? My we got a phone call the other day from someone in a much younger generation. Remember me talking about find the oldest person you know? Well, that's what they were doing, was finding the oldest person they knew to give them information on buying animals. They want to buy goats and pigs and all kinds of stuff. And so we're sitting there, and after Wayne got off the phone, because he was talking to him, he says, oh, now they're concerned because the lizard people might be coming to Earth. And I went, what? And I thought for sure that he was joking, and he wasn't. And I was like, okay. So, has there been a credible threat of lizard people recently, guys? Yeah, you raised that one to be just like you, Tracy. I've got a couple of those myself. Every time one of mine pops off with sarcasm, I'm like, yeah, there I am. They look so much like their dad, it's not funny. So the whole line of those men all look so much alike that it's like looking at the same person over and over and over at different ages. So, there's got to be some of me in there somewhere. And my ex tries to claim that the stubborn comes from him. And I'm like, all right, you believe that if you want to. I know better, but you believe it. I know where the stubborn comes from. Depends on where you choose to look for the lizard people. Yeah, it was, I just thought we were having a gardening conversation until we got off the phone and Wayne told me the rest of that. I was like, really? Okay. I guess the FBI released something saying that the aliens are real or UFO sightings are real. And I'm like, well, yeah. If you can't identify a flying object, it's a UFO, right? Good morning, Nancy. Oh no, Colleen's in one as well. But I'm still going lizard people. So anyway, these youngsters have now decided that they want to raise chickens and pigs and cows and a garden and all that stuff, which is admirable. I'll never tell somebody no, they shouldn't be doing that because I think it makes sense. But halfway through the conversation, one of these young people decides that they don't want to raise pigs to eat. They want to raise pigs like to carry around. They want to raise them like for pets. And I was like, why would you get, and I understand dogs and cats, okay? But why would you buy a pig and raise it as a pet? I don't even get the potbelly pig thing. Pigs are smart, but I don't want pigs living in my house. Sorry. And pigs are probably smarter than dogs. I still don't want a pig living in my house. So yeah, I'm just kind of laughing at that one, waiting to see how that one turns out. I'm putting together the other part of my blog. It'll hit her first. Yeah, because she's in misery, and misery always gets it first, right? Or is that just the direction it's coming from? She's going to beat me up for saying that one wrong. She couldn't get me for Illinois because I was right. But she'll get me for misery. Might even make her stop lurking and say something. I know I'm mean. Giovanna, I do know that, but every pig that we've ever had has been an outside pig. And I know that pigs have a lot of power in their jaws and that they can eat through things that you might not imagine they could or would. So I don't think a pig makes a great indoor pet. They're not well known for being superhuman friendly. if that makes sense. And we had a spot in our front yard that we wanted to turn into a garden area, and it was full of weeds. So we put our pigs there for about 6 weeks, and they turned that ground under all the way to about 6 feet deep. Matter of fact, a couple of years, but they had buried the rubber beetles so deep in the ground that even when we tilled it, we didn't find it. And it took a couple of years for it to come back up to the top. So yeah, they're clean, but they're also a very powerful animal, and they can kill a human. She turned her volume off. See how you are? She's rotten. She's rotten. She's rotten. All right. I'm down to putting together the last 4 pieces here, which is good. And then this will be all done. Yeah, Giovanna, they're great for turning ground over. Oh, I know some people had a monkey. Now, monkeys are a commitment like you're having a kid, right? Because they live a long time. They're like 35 or 40. I raised one. His mama had too many. You bottle fed him, but you had to put him out. He was over 1,000 pounds. Yeah. Yeah, we had one Blue. I love this silly little pig. So did Wayne. He would come up on the porch and he'd oink and grunt at you, want to get pet. But I was outside one day and he came up on the porch and he was rooting around. And I don't know what he got into, but when he came off the porch, look in his eye had me going, I think I'll give him a wide berth. And so I went ahead and went in the house. And when Wayne got home that night, I told him, I said, I know you're going to go outside and do whatever chores you're doing. I said, but you probably want to go armed. There's something up with Bo. And so when he went outside, Wayne got up on the tractor, or he was going to get up on the tractor, and he turned around and Bo was charging at him like he was going to mow him down. And he ended up having to put the pig down. And he didn't eat him. I don't know what got into him. But up until that day, he had been super friendly and everything. Oh, now is a baboon the same thing as a monkey, or is that a slightly different species? Eh, was he 1,000 pounds when he still lived in the house, Nancy? Now, I've known people who've domesticated all kinds of things, raccoons and squirrels and possums. I mean, stuff that I wouldn't consider domesticating animals. Probably aren't really meant to be domesticated. Obviously, I think snakes aren't meant to be. Sorry. There's my finished block. Waiting to see if it comes up on the camera. Getting all my little stringies out of here. Oh, that looks really good on camera. Those colors are less vivid. Let me switch cameras here. I'll turn back around. Tiny bit less vivid on. Come on. That just makes it look like a darker purple. But along with the other stuff I've got on my design wall, this is the same color value as the pinks and the greens I've been using. Hello, Gladys. How are you today? Thank you. And like I said, I only did the one corner last week, and I wanted to finish it so that I can put it up on the wall. Joe, I'm thinking of like alligators, lions, and tigers, prey animals. Those are ones that probably aren't really good candidates to domesticate. How's that? I'll take a picture so I have it for a thumbnail for us after we're all done. There we go. Back over here. It's just, seriously, sir, it's 2 half square triangles. It's 2 half square triangles and 2 4 patches. And this is what I traditionally would call a Jacob's ladder. We have ancient dinosaurs in Florida. Yes, we did. And then the Quilt Builder card deck just shows it to you in 3 colors. And I chose the pink and blue and then a white background. And I actually got all my background fabric turned the right way. And then you just alternate the squares. And this would be really cute if you made it into a whole quilt. But they're calling this 4 block a Jacob's ladder. And I've always called just the one corner square a Jacob's ladder block. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. So, and my points aren't great, but I don't care. I mean, if I were making this specifically, like I've got to make, oh, I didn't tell you guys, I have to make a baby quilt. My aunt, my favorite aunt, we call her Wawa, is going to be a grandmother in July or August. Anyway, she messaged me the other day and told me that she needed my address for a baby shower invitation. So I already know that it's a boy, and she told me what the current name is. We all know how that goes. They may change their mind 100 times between now and then. But so I need to make a quilt. Oh, okay. Let me try that. Interesting. Lori sent me a text telling me how to fix it. This won't fall apart, Star. You can make this. As far as quilts go, yeah, and I will fix stuff if I like. We've all done it. You know, you make a quilt top, you put it together, and then you go to quilt it and you find a hole somewhere, right? Like a seam didn't hold real close together or whatever. And I will tuck that in and sew it down, and then I'll go ahead and quilt it, like as if there was never an issue there. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not going to sit here and beat myself up. I'm just going to fix it and keep going. That's the practical part of it. The creative part is I want to make a pretty quilt that, is cute, but I don't necessarily want something that's so pretty you can't use it. And I know my aunt, and I'm pretty sure that her daughter's going to be the same kind of mom, where she's more practical than anything else. They have dogs in the house. Um, there's lots of people in and out. I mean, I have a huge family. I keep telling you guys this. So I want to make sure that, whatever I make, they can throw down the driveway or the grass or the living room floor and not have to worry about, is this going to come apart? So since the baby will be born in Florida, I probably won't put batting in it. I will back it either with one of those hospital blankets that I got, or I've got some light denim up there on a bolt that I may put on the back of it. And then I know that the back of the quilt is going to stand up to anything that comes down the pipe, so that's my mental process for babies. And then if she wants a pretty quilt down the road, well, then we'll talk about it good. But yeah, and there is a gnat flying around in here. Lori, I tried that. It didn't work for me, but that's fine. It's not a big biggie. Oh, she crashed. Okay. Yeah, and Joe, you may be right about that. I don't know. Like I said, raccoons and possums. I've even seen deer. Yeah, yeah. This quilt would survive a flood, or the quilts I prefer to make for babies would survive a flood. You could throw it in a washer and wash everything out, and as long as it comes clean enough, it's not some fluffy little thing that's gonna fall apart just because it got some muddy water in it. And I'm sure you're probably doing way more laundry than you want to do because of the flood. Okay, so let's see what we got to do here. I need to put some links in here. We need to put in Sylvia and Colleen. I'm waiting on the Nightbot to catch up to me. And I'm sure you guys have all seen that mom had surgery and she's back home. They're supposed to be live next weekend, is what I understand. There we go. And then I need to put in my cheerleader and my no channel mod because Lori and Tracy. And guys, I just put the wrong Tracy in. Am I channeling Sylvia tonight, Tracy Albert? Tracy W gets more advertising on my channel because of Tracy. I want to say, aw, awesome, Joe. I'm glad you saved it. You watched the first batch today. Now, is that why you're missing your gas? Is your dryer gas? That didn't get into your house itself, just into the garage, right? So you just have to deal with what was in the garage. And do you have flood insurance, or does the government offer you help for stuff like that to help pay for extra utilities or things that you might have to go buy in order to get through? Tracy smacking. She's gonna send me a text and tell me you dingling. Oh well, good, Joe. I'm glad to hear that. Tracy, you can tell this medication's really messing with my brain, huh? Sorry about that, Sherlock. The region helps. Okay. All right. So is that everybody? Did I miss anybody, Tracy? Since you're more on the ball than I am tonight. All right. So if I haven't missed anybody, I'm going to say a couple things. One, um, thank you very much to all of my mods for being here. And if you have to be out, like Colleen's not feeling well tonight, uh, it happens. And thank you for doing it when you can. Yeah, sure. No, seriously, but they started me on a new arthritis med, and I have been alternating between super cold and super sleepy, and sometimes both at the same time. I think it's the medicine. It's listed as a side effect, or it could be getting sick because I am a little bit hoarse. Um, but anyway, so thank you to my mods. Colleen is over 1100. Sylvia's either 816 or 817. I don't remember what the number was that I saw earlier today. And I'm still over 2300. Thank you all very much for that. I appreciate you guys watching. On Thursday, we will do one of the Quilt Builder card deck blocks. I'm just not sure which one yet. And I am going to be working on some Cricut and some scan and cut videos for this week. And I'm going to do them as two separate videos. It's similar concepts, but I'm going to do mirroring for the Cricut and mirroring for the scan and cut. So if you have one of those machines and you're wanting to find out, if you have a specific question about that machine, besides how do I use it at all, but if you have a specific question, feel free to send it to me. Either leave it as a comment on one of the videos or send me an email. My email is available on my About Me page on YouTube, and I'll try to get to answer that for you. I wanted to do mirroring because Sylvia and I are both doing an applique quilt, and we want to be able to reverse our little things. Thank you, Sherlock. I appreciate that. All right, guys, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for watching and have a great night. Love you guys.